Hey guys, welcome to yet another episode of Auto Connect. And there is a question that most of you guys have asked in previous episodes, and that is about tires. What implications does using the wrong tire have on your car? Imagine a lady running in high heels, or you showing up for a meeting in gumboots, or even walking in gumboots on a sunny day. What about using sneakers when it's raining? Now, we are going to try and put that analogy into play when we are talking about the right tires for your vehicle. And today we'll be joined by someone from RoadCruza to try and explain the right tires for the right car. And as you can see, we have different types of tires for different types of cars. And guess what? We even have an electric vehicle right here, but hiyo itakuja baadaye. So, and we are going to bring this episode because Auto Connect is the only car channel that is going to guarantee you an alluring motor vehicle experience. I'll be your host, Eric Wakabi, Eric with a CK. Remember, you can follow me on a personal level, Eric Wakabi on Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok as well. And now, let's get up close and candid with the right tires for your vehicle. And today I'm joined on set by a tire expert from RoadCruza Tires, and we are going to demystify the myths about using specific tires for specific purposes. And guess what? Did you know that we have all-terrain tires even for normal passenger cars for non-commercial use? Now, I'm joined by this gentleman over here, and I'm going to let him introduce himself ndio tupige story kuhusu these different types of tires. Karibu sana.
Asante sana, Eric. Hi guys, I'm honored to be here with this channel, actually reviewing one of the best tires, motor vehicle tires that we have that are actually retailing here in Kenya.
Now, sasa, before tuende pale, nataka tuanze, we have a Subaru Impreza GT7, we have a Mazda Axela, we have a Skyworth. Unajua wase wamefikiria Skyworth ni TV. We have a Skyworth EV and we have a Honda Stepwagon right there. But I would like us to start on, kwa kila gari kuna two tires that are placed on each side. And I think this is the best way to explain kwa wase kuhusu hizi tires na kwa nini watu wakiweka tires fulani kwa gari, either fuel consumption goes bad or sometimes even suspension components fail. And I want us to start with this Subaru. We have one tire here. Leo by this today we have somebody who will be doing more of the technical jargon. So the first tire we have here is hii ni gani?
It's a RoadCruza highway pattern. This is normally for the passenger cars.
HP
is highway pattern.
Unajua kwa watu wengi wa magari, especially guys who are buying cars, HP means higher purchase. So, tell me more about the highway tires. What's the application of the highway tire now that we tuko hapa na Subaru Impreza, which is a normal car that guys use for the highway?
So for the highway pattern tires, mostly they are used on urban roads where you're mostly on tarmac. So this is a tire that gives you one fuel economy. It also does not get challenged a lot on the roads. So if you want a smooth drive, you go for the highway tires. If you're on tarmac every time, you are moving from one side of town to the other, this one gives you a lot of reliability.
Okay. Does the tread pattern have any implications, say, on fuel economy? You mentioned fuel economy.
Yes.
Now that we are matters fuel economy, now this is a highway tire when you were to with a highway pattern. But this Subaru Impreza also boasts of something we call symmetrical all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So, mtu wako na hii gari, mostly it's channeled towards on-road use. But once in a while, they'll go to mild off-road. Wataingia kwa matope, wataingia kwa nyasi, ama kwa loose ground. And for a very long time, actually this is a very interesting thing. For a very long time, we have always thought, hakuna all-terrain tires za gari ndogo. But I'm surprised today that we have this other tire.
Exactly. We have even all-terrain tires for the small cars, the Subaru Imprezas, the Fielders, the Allions.
Hadi Probox.
even Pro Box, like this specific color one is for Pro Box. The ones that actually are mostly on all weather roads and also sometimes in very rugged places. So we have all terrain tires, which one, it gives you more strength on the shoulders for the tires. So you will not have those cuts from the hanging stones and the potholes on the sidewalks.
Okay.
And also again, when you encounter muddy places, at least it gives you more traction than the other tire that you have just reviewed.
That is the highway part.
In the higher part.
So hii ni tire ya wale wasi wako na Pro Box zenye zinaenda sana sana off-road.
Yes.
Pro Box, Fielder, Sienta.
Exactly.
That are used for public, you know, either commercially ama kama matatu. Because we have some areas where they use the Pro Box as a matatu, the Sienta as a matatu.
True.
Na kama sasa there is a place I went huko kunaitwa Kapsowar. Na kuna barabara ziko na mawe mbaya sana. So actually the biggest problem inakuanga Pro Box kukatika tires.
The tires.
Yes, because they use the normal road tires.
Yeah.
So what we are being told here is that you don't have to use highway tires if your small vehicle, say a Pro Box inatumika kwa rough road.
Rough road, yes. But also, okay, even in the city, we have some roads which are actually very rough than
Yes.
even the ones in the remote areas.
Yes.
So it also gives you more reliability on that case. Where you have roads which have so many potholes,
Yes.
this actually gives you a better traction. Okay. And the beauty also of these all-terrain tires, it comes with outlined white letters.
Oh, so inakuwa
Has outlined white letters. We'll show you in one of the cars which have been fitted.
Yes.
So for aesthetic value, it looks very nice. Yes.
So inakaa nganya. In short.
Inakaa Ghana.
So now there's also another very interesting tire that we have here. Well, this is a Mazda Axela. This is the diesel series. It's the performance variant of the Mazda Axela. But before we talk about the performance aspect, let's talk about this tire over here. It's a commercial tire, ndio uliniambia.
This is a commercial tire. You see it has a C. C is for commercial.
Commercial van.
This is a tire that comes with ply rating.
Yes.
As you can see here, it has 8 PR. So
Right.
meaning the tire is more reinforced to carry and to hold more load.
Yes.
So like for instance, you'll find we have this one asset car that you have in Kenya called Pro Box. So you'll find those guys who are using Pro Box to carry farm inputs for distribution in their wholesale shops, hardwares and all that. They cannot put the other tire because it cannot hold a lot of weight.
Yes.
Most likely it will hold around 800 kgs maximum. Yes. But there is a tire which can hold even 2 tons, 2 point something tons.
Okay. And
So it gives you more reliability and more strength.
And you have this tire also for matatus.
Yes. So this pattern comes for all the commercial vehicles, from the matatus, the vanettes, the townies,
Yes.
all the way up to even the small trucks. That is the ELF, Toyota ELF, and such kind of trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about one more thing. Sasa tumetoka kwa watu wa commercial, tuende kwa watu wa pleasure sasa. People who are more into pleasure. And these are Mazda Axela. It's the diesel version and it's known for performance. Also that car over here is also known for performance. And the tuning scene in Kenya ya wase wanataka magari za performance imekuwa actually wase wameingilia sana performance. And the guys from RoadCruza have a tire for performance and it's called the UHP.
UHP.
Tuambie more about the UHP.
Now this is an ultra high performance tire.
So UHP nasema
UHP, ultra high performance. If you look at this tire, it's not symmetrical. There's an outside part and there's an inside part, depending on the pattern. So the pattern actually, mostly these patterns come with the low profile tires. The ones which are 55, 50, 45, 40. So it's able to handle very high speeds. And then again, also it gives you more control with the pattern and the design that it has. Like for instance, most of the tires you see, they have this this line on the center. There's actually a line that makes you more comfortable when you're driving on high speed along a straight line. Okay. And then again also, depending on which side, you'll find one side gives you more control on the inside than on the outside. Both also for something else that most people don't really factor in on tires is hydroplaning. Like for instance, during this kind of weather, you'll find there are some roads which are a bit wet, even on the tarmac that you can even slide. So these are some of the tires that gives you better control on those kind of roads.
So tread pattern is very important.
Very important.
So if you're running a high performance vehicle, you will not, it is better to use this ultra high performance tire.
Yes, ultra high performance.
Other than that,
Than the other
tire.
high tire pattern.
Ah,
Yes.
interesting.
Yes.
Sasa tuende kwa watu wa SUVs. But this can also fit performance SUVs like the Audi.
Yes,
Q5,
yes, it does.
SQ5.
It does. It does. We have a pattern code called Array 710 and another one Array 4100. Those ones are ultra high performance tires.
Okay, so hao ni wase wa mbio. Sasa tuende kwa watu wa adventure kama mimi. Now this is where I actually, but then you remember that Suzuki Escudo we had. It had the RoadCruza Martin. They had RA3200.
RA3200, that is the Martin tire.
Yes, and that is actually what we are putting on the Trooper as well, the RA3200 MTs. But we start, and hii kitu iko na story mingi sana. First of all, I want them to see the trend.
Yeah.
This is an
all-terrain tire. Like specifically this size 205, 65, 15.
Yes.
This is actually one of the sizes that are put in so many cars. Go to Mazda XLRs, Fielder. Most of the Fielders come with size 15. Most of the people put in this tire, the Premio, the Allion, and many saloons and sedans actually put in this tire. So it gives you this an all-terrain. It has a more reinforced sidewall and shoulder to protect you from stones and curbs. So it gives you more strength than the other high pattern.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let me start asking the hard questions. Now, if I use, and this is something I think we need to be to tell like the masses or people who are buying these cars. If I buy a Premium and I have two options, I have the RoadCruza highway tire and I have the RoadCruza all-terrain. What are the implications if I use an all-terrain instead of the normal highway pattern?
Good. For the all-terrain, when you use it, maybe first thing that you need to consider is where do you cover most? Yes. Which kind of roads? And what do you want with the car? Yes. If you are just a town person, there's no need of putting an all-terrain. Yes. Because there's more strength, of course at a higher cost, but you'll not be able to maximize on it. Yes. One thing about the all-terrain tires, they don't give you that better fuel economy than the high pattern. Yes. The high pattern gives you more fuel economy than the all-terrain. Yes.
Yes. And according to the laws of physics, actually the reason why you will get better fuel economy from highway patterns on the road, that is on the road, is because of there is reduced resistance to moving.
Yes.
Lakini hii unaweka more resistance to moving. But now the advantages of the all-terrain are, for instance, kama unaenda Ushago.
Yeah, if you're going to roads which are, and you know, mostly, most of us also want to explore during the weekends. Yes. You want to get out of where people normally go. Yes. So this is now the car that gives you a lot of reliability. Yes. And these are the tires that actually, even when you're moving, wherever you're moving, you're very comfortable. You're not worried about I'll get some stones on the road. We'll get an open rail that will ram onto. This one gives you more reliability. Yeah.
So you have more confidence on it.
You have more confidence on it.
Yes.
And you can handle unexpected items and objects on the road.
Yes. Now, allow me to carry this tire.
Yes.
As we move forward. Kwanza tuachane na hii. Na kwanza tuachane na hile. Because I want us to do something. A very small experiment. Or a very small explanation.
Yeah.
So this is a mud terrain.
Yes.
Right?
This is a mud terrain tire.
This is a mud terrain.
And this is an all terrain. Yes.
So the mud terrain and the all terrain. Hapa tuongelee watu wa SUVs. There are people who will prefer to have all terrain on their, say, Prado J150s, Toyota Fortuners, Mitsubishi Pajeros, these SUVs that would mostly go on road, but also are used. They would go off road, but mostly they are also used on the road, on highways. Yeah. So there is normally the what do we call it? The very thin line between choosing between an all-terrain tire and a mud terrain tire. So maybe you can explain further where can I use a mud terrain tire that the all-terrain tire cannot?
Good, great. So for the mud terrain tires, mostly if you are mostly on off the road,
Yes.
and you actually go for terrains which are mostly muddy, very rocky, so you better prefer to go with the mud terrain than the all terrain.
Yes.
The all terrain gives you a good flexibility, gives you traction off the road, and also it's more comfortable on the road.
Yes.
However, for the mud terrain, it gives you better traction off the road than even on the road.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you are like, for instance, we have the RoadCruza tour vans, which normally they tackle a very huge and a very bad terrain when they go to the reserves and the national parks. So they prefer this one to this one.
Unajua kuna watu wengi wanaweka mud terrain not because they use them but sababu ya urembo.
Yeah, it's actually very beautiful. People prefer it. People will actually turn their heads to look at your car when you're having a mud terrain.
Yes. It gives a car that rugged look.
Yes.
But I think there is also the conversation we should have about usability as well, even for you guys as tire dealers. How do you advise clients? Because you can find somebody who has a J150, wants a mud terrain, na anatokanga Westlands anaingia maybe Rumba.
Yeah.
How do you talk to these people into using, like, are there, and by the way, are there highway patterns for SUVs?
Yes, they are there. They are there. But normally you'll find in this market, most people do not prefer them. Because when you're buying an SUV, most of the people who buy an SUV, they want to tackle those hard terrains. They have that, they don't know the kind of roads they'll meet. They'll go to the site, they'll go to farm and such places.
So who would be the person who would, which person or which driver would be, ideal to choose a mud terrain, and which driver would be more ideal to use an all-terrain tire?
Like for instance, a driver who is on the city roads and also sometimes goes off the road would most likely be advised to take the all-terrain.
Yes.
Because it gives you that reliability on and off. Like mostly for most of the SUVs,
Yes.
you can't have an 4x4 SUV and then you have the high pattern.
It
does not make any sense. So you better have the all-terrain. However, you may not go for the mud terrain if you do not tackle those rugged places, like off the road mostly. People who go to, like the people in the shamba industry, the ones who are selling lard and such things, the good lads are where the roads are not there. So they want a tire that will get the client where they need to show them the lard. So this is the kind of tire to go with.
And these are very interesting question. If you're having, like, you may notice there are so many guys who are, most land selling companies are bringing Pro Boxes and Succeeds and also Vanettes. Is it the reason, was that the gap you saw in your marketing research that that brought the innovation of using all-terrain tires for smaller vehicles? Because for the longest time they have not been there. Yeah.
What we did, Eric, when we were carrying out our market research, we found there was a huge gap, especially with this Pro Box, this Succeed, the Sientas, which tackle mostly the country roads. Yes. You'll find most of them were actually using the highway pattern and also maybe the commercial pattern. But they were lacking something, that traction off the road. And then also, these days, especially after COVID, most of the times you'll just jump into your car, you want to explore. You not book a RoadCruza to take you out or anything. You want to use your car in those places. So we saw there's a gap. And that's when we introduced actually the size 14. We were the first, among the first companies to introduce the size 14. The 175/80/14, which is one of, let's say, most of these small cars actually prefer that tire.
Okay.
Yeah. You will find it actually even guys who are driving a Toyota Vitz with that 175/80/14.
Now that we have had this discussion, let's talk about the person who would not use an all-terrain full-time and who would not be comfortable to use a mud terrain full-time. Is there a tire from you guys that is a bridge between the all-terrain and the mud terrain?
Yes, because of that market need,
yes.
That is why we have developed an XT.
The XT.
XT tire.
What was Subaru by the Sea Forester XT?
There's an XT tire. So there's actually in between the all-terrain and the mud terrain.
Yes.
It gives you more functionality, more strength on the shoulders, on the sidewall than the all-terrain. And also the treads, they are bigger than the all-terrain, but smaller than the mud terrain. Yeah.
So this is
it's in between there.
And I know most people do not, they are not sure that this, okay, they are not aware that this tire exists.
Actually, this tire, we launched it 2 months ago. RA7000. It's a new pattern to us. And when we were actually giving out feedback to the factory,
yes,
mainly we gave the feedback to the factory with the matatu industry in mind. You realize matatu industry, the Toyota Hiace, most of them use this kind of size, 195 R15C. After market research and checking out the performance of many tires locally, you will find most of these cars are overloaded.
yes.
So the normal tire will not handle the strength of that load. So that's why we give out that market feedback to the factory, and they're able to design a tire that actually been between the all-terrain and the mud terrain with those kind of cars in mind. Yes.
So the ultimate bridge. What if, do you have other sizes for the XT?
Yes, we have introduced other sizes for the XT, the RA7000. We have 285 70 17. We also have 265 70 17, which is on the way, and we also have 265 75 16 on the way.
So this one would actually be better for somebody who has, say, a J150.
Yes.
Haendangi off-road sana, haendangi on-road sana.
Yes.
So it would actually, it might rival the MT and the 80.
Yes.
Quite
it's in between there.
Tire.
Yes.
Sasa tukuje kwa hii. This one. This is the final tire. Naona inaitwa HL.
Yeah. This is actually a higher tire than the ultra high performance.
Yes.
Mostly now this is for the SUVs, the mid SUV sized.
Yes.
You know, like the Audi Q7, those kind of cars.
Yes.
Which one, they want that reliability, comfortability. You want your car to drive smooth. So this is a pattern that gives you that.
Okay.
And if you look at all these high, ultra high performance tires, if you realize most of them, they are actually, they are called directional tires. They have an outside and an inside. If you look at this tread pattern here, you'll find this side is different from this side. So there's a side that you have to put inside and an outside.
Now here there's something, there's a very important statement that you have made. So allow me to get these other tires. I want to pick up the normal highway tire. You have talked about tires being directional.
Yes.
So, and some are not.
Yes.
So ukiwa na hii mguu, the normal highway pattern, it means ukienda pale kuwekewa,
Yes.
it does not matter the side.
It does not matter the side.
But if you're using the ultra high performance tires,
Yes.
the side matters.
The side matters. The side matters. There's a side that's supposed to face outside and another one supposed to face inside. This is actually to make sure that your tire is actually facing the right direction.
Okay.
And gives you better control in that. In terms of handling and also in terms of hydroplaning. Yes.
So, like now for this one, which should be the outer side and which should be the inner side?
To be easy on that, normally on the side wall of the tire,
Yes.
there's always a side that has been written outside. There's a sign written outside and inside. That's what you need to look for. Anytime that you go to a petrol station to get your tires fixed or a tire person, always make sure you look at that.
Interesting.
Yes.
I think that's a very interesting bite, especially for people who will be buying the ultra high performance tires.
Yes.
Lakini hii unaweza weka
This
pale
one you
yote.
can put in any side.
What about-
Any side.
Hata all terrain na mud terrain.
And even the all-terrain and mud terrain, you can put on any side.
Okay.
And to note carefully, if you put the inside side outside, that tire will wear very fast. And you'll come claiming that, oh, no, these tires are wearing very fast. But it's the way you have fitted them.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So you advise your actually followers and viewers, always when you have an ultra high performance tire, when you get them fixed, when you go to the garage for servicing and the mechanic is actually fitting back your tires, always make sure the outside is on the outside.
Okay. And the inside
Is on the inside.
ndani.
Yes.
Now, talking about tires wearing out fast, there are practices that people out here do that make tires actually wear out more quickly or faster than they should.
Yeah.
Like one, umenunua gari mpya. Not even, you have bought new tires. After you fix the new tires, there are several things that, or even you've bought rims, there are things that people do not do. Number one is balancing. Number two is wheel alignment.
Yes.
So what do you suggest if I come to you to a shop and buy a RoadCruza tire, especially the ultra high performance, what, or even the highway pattern?
Yeah.
What do you recommend I do as the first thing after fitting those tires in my car?
First, when you're fitting those tires, you need to have the tires balanced. Tire balancing, every time that you actually dismount the tire from the wheel and you mount it again, you're supposed to do a wheel balancing. That's the first thing that you need to do. Secondly, you need also to occasionally do your wheel alignment. Because of the impacts and the roads that we actually move on, sometimes you'll find you have lost that alignment. And once the alignment has been lost, a tire will actually wear out, maybe on the inside or on the outside. And probably also when you're doing the wheel alignment, get also your suspension parts checked.
Okay. Now, and that brings now the other thing that is very common, a mistake that motorists normally make, like every day. Tire pressure. Sababu,
Yes.
if you look at the tire wear charts, there are times the tire will wear out hapa,
On this, yes.
hapa katikati,
Or on the side.
or on the side.
Yes.
So how does tire pressure impact how a tire wears?
Yes. At times you'll find you can overinflate the tire. If you overinflate the tire, it will actually wear out at the center more. If you underinflate the tire, it will actually sit on the shoulders more. So it will wear out on the shoulders more. So it's always advisable. Check on the side of the driver's the driver's door. You check the recommended PSI for your car. Different cars have different PSI. Normally you'll find for our Kenyan drivers, some of the cars are normally overloaded. And if you use the wrong pattern or the wrong kind of tire, you'll find it's like bulging. So you'll think it doesn't have pressure and you continue adding more pressure, but you're doing more damage to the tire. So if you make sure that the right tires are on the right car, and then you make sure the pressure is okay, then you'll be good to go.
Now let's talk about this tire, a tire that is not very common in the Kenyan market especially. Which is this tire? Because it has a very unique tread pattern.
This is a rugged tire. RoadCruza code is RA8000. This is an upgrade of now the multi-terrain tires. So this one can handle even the rocky places, the worst places you can think of. The advantage of this tire, the rugged tire over the multi-terrain, is that the side walls are more reinforced. When you go to hilly places with a lot of rocks, you expect a lot of impact from the side.
Yeah.
So the side wall is actually more strong for more load handling. You can handle more load with this tire in all the roads that you want to handle.
So this is the spec for the people now who are going rock crawling. Well,
Yeah, even if you want to go for rock crawling, this is a tire to use.
What about the tread? The tread down in a karibu terrain, but
Yeah.
there's a different pattern onto it.
Yeah. So the pattern for the rugged terrain tire is actually made with things like sandy places in mind, and also muddy places in mind.
Yes.
So it's able to self-dispense once you are out of the mud, the mud in it. Or if it's the small rocks, it's able to self-dispense itself.
Ah, nice.
Yes.
So interesting tread pattern here. Now let's talk about one more thing. Sasa before to wrap up the episode, let's talk about tires and the tires degrading. Sababu mostly in Kenya we buy cars from abroad, and zinakuja na funny tires, zinakuja na winter tires, or other tires that have been used over a long time.
Yes.
Na pia kuna habit ingine. You see, when there are people who are very conversant with tires. So when they come, irrespective of the tires being in good condition, when they import a car, they will remove those tires, and you will find them being sold somewhere on the street, and they'll tell you, these tires are good, treads iko sawa. So apart from wearing out tread wise, what else degrades, or how else does a tire degrade?
You know, tire or rubber normally hardens with time.
Yes.
So like for instance, tires, by the time you're using it 4 years, 5 years, because of the exposure to light and extreme weathers, it hardens. Just like your shoe. If you leave your shoe outside, the sole hardens. So the grip that it used to give you, it cannot give you. It will actually slide in even smooth places like tires. The same thing with the tires. You may find that the treads are there, but already the rubber has degraded, it has hardened. And that's where you find guys sometimes ram into back of other cars. You have maybe someone that does an emergency brake, you do an emergency brake, the car skids because the tires doesn't have the resistance to hold that traction and that grip.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is very important actually.
So guys, always watch out for tire degradation. And after how long, tentatively, after how long does a tire, become not serviceable or not usable in matters, not matters tread wear, but matters degradation?
Around 5 years. Around 5 years. From the manufacturer date, 5 years it's not usable.
Okay.
You can still use it, but the risk is actually higher.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And now there's also another question I would like to ask. Kwa hizi magari, especially the grey imports like these ones.
Yeah.
There are times you look at a vehicle and you will find cracks.
Exactly. That's actually now that tire has degraded. It has hardened already. So the flexibility of the rubber is no longer there.
So it's actually risky.
That's actually risky. If you actually hit a pothole or an object on the road on high speeds, then you'll have a tire burst immediately. Yes.
Nasa unajua, unfortunately, askari wetu wanaangalianga
they just look at the trend.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
They don't look at this. But I think some of these things, unajua Kenya tunafanya vitu out of ndio tusishikwe na askari.
True.
But I think we also need to bring out that aspect of personal responsibility. Yeah, like now, why should you ride on tires that are,
that have degraded? You're actually putting yourself in a very huge risk.
And remember, you're not only putting yourself, maybe umebeba familia.
Yes.
You're even risking somebody else's family.
Yes.
Because chances of you ramming into another vehicle are actually very high. Yeah. So guys, it's not only treadwear that wears out a tire. There is a new thing that is called tire degradation, and I would like us to wrap up this episode on tires. Remember, you can get RoadCruza tires through the number that is in the description, and appear the links to their social media pages. You can inbox them, and nikwambia hata ukienda kwa dealer yote ana deal na RoadCruza, enda uambie wakupatie an auto connect incentive. Watakupatia kitu ita complement those tires. So before you buy them, insist nimetumwa na Eric with a CK na nataka that small incentive, and they'll give you an incentive that will go very handy. I will not tell you what it is because it's supposed to be a surprise from RoadCruza. Kitu itakusaidia kuishi na hiyo tire. Sawa sawa. So I hope this has been a very insightful episode. I've been your host Eric Okabi, and remember to like this video, also share, na pia kumbuka kusubscribe to the channel. So see you on the next episode where we are going to talk more about cars and even probably this electric car.